someone requested that I talk about my favorite scary movies, so here we go. Again, this is my opinion. If you do not think that, then, well, that's your opinion, but we're talking about me here now. So, no, I would love to hear your favorite scary movies and what you think of my favorite scary movies. So please comment below which one is your favorite and why. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe and give this video a like, and it will make me so happy. Oh, it looked like I had a dark spot, but it was just my little dimple. So because we are going to be just chit-chatting, I thought we could get one of our little friends out. Get one of our little, oh no, their bag's dirty. Get one of the little, oh no, that's the floam. Remember when I played with that floam? I got it everywhere. We're gonna get a little friend out, and we're gonna talk about my favorite scary movies. Scary movies. I tried to say film and movie, and it came film. I don't even know what I just said, but it was not movie. I think I chose about 10, so just bear with me. So, my frogging video that I just recorded, we used Jeff. My name is Jeff. So we're not gonna use Jeff, we're gonna use Bryan. Little baby Bryan. The OG stim slug. I need to get another one, but for now we've just got Bryan and Jeff. Jeff smells weird. I mean, Bryan smells weird. I don't know why. It's not my mic. I don't know what that is. I smell a funny smell. Okie dokie, little friends. We are talking about my favorite scary movies, starting with the first one that I thought of as soon as somebody said this, which is Signs. Yes, Signs, the 2002 alien horror, written and directed by none other than M. Night Shyamalan. There are a couple of M. Night Shyamalan films on here, forgive me. So, this one is The Signs. The Signs, it's just Signs, it's Signs. It is, as I said, written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. It tells the story of a former Episcopal, I can't say that. It talks about a former priest named Graham who discovers a series of crop circles in his cornfield, and then the phenomenon is the result of, I have such an itchy nose, hold on one second while I grossly itch the side of my face. So he discovers that the crop circles are the result of extraterrestrial life. It stars Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, Rory Culkin, and Abigail Breslin. Overall, I would not say that this is really that scary. Like, if I watch this now, it's not that scary, but I need to tell you why it's on this list and why it's the number one. So, the first time that I watched this film was in the middle of a 9-acre farm in bumfuck Oklahoma. Like, I was in the middle of nowhere watching this film about aliens who terrorize this family in the middle of nowhere. I have this distinct memory. Like, if you've ever seen this movie, which it's 22 years old, if you haven't seen this movie now, like, spoilers, question mark, you know the scene I'm talking about, where he, like, is walking in the cornfield, and he sees, like, the little alien leg move, and then the other scene, where they're, like, watching the news, and, like, you can see, I'm getting goosies just talking about it, look at that, you can see the, like, alien walk past, when they're watching that newsreel from Mexico. It traumatized me, okay? I have a memory because, like, we watched it in a trailer, and if you ever have been in a trailer, you know that most of the time they are, like, one bedroom is on one end and the other bedroom is on the other end. So we were in the other bedroom, and there's, like, a little hallway that you have to look down to see the kitchen, and my grandmother had this weird little decoration thing on the wall of, like, as you entered into the kitchen. And so when the lights were out, you could see, like, just the shadow of this little decoration, and it made it look like someone is peeking their head around the corner staring at you. It scared the crap out of me. I actively avoided this movie growing up. Like, it scared me. I had only watched it literally the one time. And then, like, I watched it again, and I was like, why was I so scared of this film? It wasn't that scary. There aren't that many jump scares, and the dialogue is really slow and hard to understand at times. I mean, it is an M. Night Shyamalan film. You should know what to expect. Like, it's just like any of his other films. There's the dumb twist at the end, like the aliens, like, spoilers again. The aliens come to a 75% water planet when they are they can't touch water. Like, the resolution of this film is that, like, the little girl drinks a bunch of water because she keeps saying, like, oh, it tastes funny, it tastes funny, it tastes weird. And so there's, like, all of these water glasses all over the house, and so, like, the alien comes in and the dad sees it, and, like, the uncle does this weird, he used to be a baseball dude, and he in there, like, swing, and he, like, swings, and the water goes everywhere, and this alien, like, I'm melting. Not really, because the aliens don't talk, but, like, again, you come to a 75% water-based planet to terraform it, not knowing that you can't, like, it's just goofy. It's goofy. There are some pretty scenes regarding, like, the wife, and, like, he's traumatized because his wife died in a car accident, and it's almost like she knew this was gonna happen. It's really weird, but beautiful at the same time. So the second scariest horror film is The Village. It was released in 2004, again written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. The Village is about a rewind. The film is about a village of people whose whole population lives in fear of creatures inhabiting the woods beyond it, beyond the little, like, village, and they refer to the monsters as those we don't speak of. It's such a good film. I will say probably one of M. Night Shyamalan's best films. It's not that scary. It's scary the first time you watch it, but then afterwards you're like, oh. And so I watched it recently with my husband, and he thought it was really good too, I think. Movie poster. Sorry, I didn't put that. The Village. It stars Bryce Dallas Howard, Joaquin Phoenix again, Adrian Brody, William Hurt, Sigourney Weaver, and Brendan Gleeson, and it is beautiful. It is such a beautiful film. The way that he directs it, the way that M. Night Shyamalan film, but not all of them are stinkers. Sometimes he does good. It is, I'm trying to see what I wrote here, because I wrote like a little outline. It is slow, but it is a beautiful love story. And I wouldn't even call this horror. I would maybe call it thriller, but although it can be, I don't know, let's just stick to horror. The twist, though, like, honestly, there is a twist. It's M. Night Shyamalan. It is so fantastic, and my husband did not see it coming. Like, he realized one of the twists. There are two. I'm not gonna spoil it any further, because I really want you to go watch this one. If you don't watch any of these films, watch this one. Like, just watch this one. It's so good. I feel like if you pay attention during the film, you should be able to figure it out, like both of them, but maybe not, because I remember when I first watched it, I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I would say, like I wrote here, even after telling you, it still holds up. It doesn't just tell you what's going on, and then immediately die off like the other films. He has a tendency of, like, once he tells you what the twist is, his movies just kind of fade out, and this one does not. It holds up very well. So the next film is called The Others, which came out in 2001. It is written and directed by Alejandro Amenabar. It is set in 1945 on the Channel Island of Jersey. It focuses on a woman and her two young photosensitive children who experience supernatural phenomena in their large manor after the arrival of 3 new servants. It stars Nicole Kidman, Fionnuala Flanagan, Christopher Eccleston, Elaine Cassidy, Eric Sykes, Alekina Mann, and James Bentley. There's some weird names. Alekina is beautiful, but weird. Fionnuala is also a weird but pretty one. Again, it is a slow film. I do tend to like the slow burns. It is a slow film. It is described as, quote, a gothic, supernatural, psychological horror, if that helps. And I would say that's exactly what it is. It's very gothic in the way of, like, not goth, like, mom, it's just a face. No, like, gothic as in, like, the old manor houses and gargoyles. It is, as I said, it's slow, but it doesn't plod. It's a slow burn. You will be interested. And the twist at the end is very unexpected. Again, there is a twist. I didn't expect it, but maybe you will. I watch this movie at least once a year, and it's pretty good. The little girl is amazing, the actress, and then Nicole Kidman. I love how she interacts with the sets and how she interacts with the children. It's not overdone. It's very well made. It's atmospheric, and it's a definite thinker. Like, it's just, the twist is wonderful. It's a thinker. It's a think piece. I am not excited to talk about this next one because it still traumatizes me to this day, even just thinking about the ending. It is The Mist. Made in 2007, written and directed by Frank Darabont. So it is described as a monster movie, but it also explores what ordinary people would do and can do under extraordinary circumstances. The plot revolves around members of a small town in Bridgerton, Maine, who, after a severe thunderstorm causes the power to go out the night before, they meet and are trapped in a supermarket while picking up supplies. They struggle to survive, and then like an unnatural mist starts to envelop them, and it contains a vicious Lovecraftian style monsters. There's more than one, and it just shows them, like, it doesn't really show how these people interact with the monsters, although there are times when the monsters do come in contact with the people. It's, like I said, it's more about how these people interact with themselves. It goes into religion, and like it starts to, the little cliques that they form start to break down, and people end up dying. It's very good. It stars Thomas Jane, Mauricia Gay Harden, Nathan Campbell, Andre Broder, Sam Witwer, and so many more people. Like, you'll recognize somebody in this film. So the reason that I'm not excited to talk about this film is because of the ending. So this film is actually based on a story by Stephen King of the same name. But vastly different endings. I mean, like, so incredibly different. In fact, the only reason this film is on this list is because of the ending of the movie. So I watched this film growing up, and then I had to do, and I was traumatized, literally, and only watched it the one time. And I'm not going to tell you what the ending is, because, like, it's terrible. It's terrible. I will tell you, though, that, like, trigger warning, you need to be prepared for it to really fuck you up, because it really fucked me up as a kid. So, what do I say? I watched this film growing up, and when I got to college, I had to read the short story, and I was, like, not prepared to read the short story because I was dreading, because I had watched the film, and, like, that's the first thing that my professor told us was, like, the film and the story are completely different. I completely forgot about this. I actually told my professor that I could not read the story because the film messed me up so much. Like, I talked to them after class, and I was like, look, I can't read this. I can't read that ending because it's terrible. It's truly awful. And they were like, oh, are you talking about the film? I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, it's completely different. It's so different. And I'm like, what? The ending of the book is, or the novella, because it's a short story. The ending of the short story is so much better, and I do not understand why they wouldn't have done it this way. I think Frank Darabont, freaking Frank, I think he just wanted to mess people up. I think he just wanted to fuck with people's heads. So, like I said, I'm not going to tell you what the ending is, but if you decide to go watch this film, just be prepared. It's literally the last 5 minutes of the film. That is just terrible. And it's kind of fitting for the day, if you think about it, like the times that we're in, because it really does show how quickly people can succumb to pressure from outside forces, from inside forces, and it's very scary. It's really scary. So the next film is called The Haunting. Came out in 1999. It is a screenplay by David Self, and it was directed by Jan de Bont. The plot follows a group of people who gather at a sprawling estate in western Massachusetts for an apparent volunteer study on insomnia, only to find themselves plagued by paranormal events connected to the home's grim history. It stars Liam Neeson, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Owen Wilson, and Lily Taylor. And let me just say, Catherine Zeta-Jones is like, she's fine in this film. Like, look at that. Yes. Yes. And it has Owen Wilson. And yes, he goes, wow. I actually love this film. It is such a comfort film for me. I don't find it scary at all. I don't even know if I did ever find it scary, if I'm being honest. It is such a beautiful film about finding your home and finding your place in the world, which I've never felt like I've had. So it's just a nice little film. The setting is beautiful, and the script is outdated, but it's a 1990s horror. Like, it's a product of its time. It stars Owen Wilson. Like, come on now. And again, like, it's a product of its time. It could definitely use an update, but I fear it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't feel the same, but I could totally see them redoing it and making like an actual scary film. The ghost children that are in the film can be a little cheesy. The steps, oh god, why is my nose so itchy? I do not understand. There's like this scene where she gets led, Eleanor, she gets led by these little ghost children in their bloody footsteps, and it's just really bad CGI. But again, it's a product of its time. Like, it's just one of those films. Again, another comfort film for me. 1973's The Exorcist. The original bad boy. The screenplay was written by William Peter Blatty, and it was directed by William Friedkin. We all know the story of The Exorcist. It follows the demonic possession of a young girl and her mother's attempts to rescue her through an exorcism by 2 Catholic priests. It stars Ellen Burstyn, Max von Sydow, Jason Miller, and Linda Blair. This is probably one of the earliest scary movies that I remember watching with all of my siblings. My mom put us all in a room, and like we were on this big king-size bed at my aunt's house, and I remember she put in the little VHS and we watched it. And I remember literally my little sister, oh gosh, she peed herself when we watched this scene where the little girl's like crawling down the stairs and blood's coming out of her mouth. Like, they don't show that scene in a lot of the movies, so you might think that I'm not know what I'm talking about, but yes, there is a scene where she like crawls down the stairs, like, and it scared my little sister so much. It scared me too, like, but it scared her so much. Oh, I feel like I'm wiping my makeup off, I'm sorry. I also really loved how they portrayed the demon. I would just sit there and have a conversation with it. Like, the voice that they used, I liked the whole, like, giggle when he was like, isn't that a, was it something show of power? And the demon goes like, I just love it. It's such a good film. If you've not seen this film, I don't know how you can call yourself a horror fan, because like it made the genre essentially. And there's like 8 Exorcist films, but I've been told the first and the third are the good ones, and then like they remade it to Exorcist Believer, and Linda Blair actually comes back and reprises her role as the little girl, but she's not a little girl anymore. And I heard I actually didn't hear anything about this film, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because like you'd think that it would be a big deal considering that they not remade it, but revisited the story. And I'll watch it when I can, I guess. So the next film is the Blair Witch Project. From 1999, it is written and directed by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez. It is a fictional story. If you've never seen the Blair Witch Project, again, what are you doing? It is a fictional story of 3 student filmmakers who hike into the Black Hills near Burkittsville, Maryland in 1994 to film a documentary about a local myth known as the Blair Witch. The 3 disappear, but their equipment and footage are discovered a year later. That purportedly found footage is the movie that the viewer sees. So it is like a found footage film. If you don't like found footage films, which is like valid, I know a lot of people don't. Sometimes I don't. I tend to like them more in scary movies for some reason. It makes it feel more real. But like when I watch like found footage of like, what was that movie? Party X or whatever. I didn't like that one. Like, it's something about scary movies and found footage that just go together so well. So it stars Ray Hance, Michael Williams, and Joshua Leonard. Again, it's just 3 people out in the woods. And it is such a good film. Like, it's inspiring how the director is able to immerse the viewer, because like you really forget that you're watching a film. Like, it really does feel like you can watch these relationships break down in these 3 people, and how like they're trying to survive this incident of just not being able to survive. And it's really good. It's so good. It can be described as slow, but like you're watching 3 people get lost in a woods as they get haunted by this weird witch thing. You didn't get to see it, but like it's so good. Sorry, I keep fidgeting. I moved. I hurt my ankle and it hurts to sit on. So I keep like going back and forth between sitting on either ankle. Anyways, the next one is the 2016 Blair Witch. It is written by Simon Barrett and directed by Adam Wingard. The film actually follows a group of college students and their local guides who venture into the Black Hills to uncover the mystery surrounding the disappearance of Heather Donahue, which is the sister of one of the characters in the Blair Witch 2016, who appeared in the 1999 version of the Blair Witch Project. She's the girl. It stars James Allen McCune, Callie Hernandez, Brandon Scott, Corbin Reed, Valerie Curry, and Wes Robinson. So it is a sequel, as I've said. The brother is trying to find his sister and like remembers her going out to the hills and researching all of this. I think the guides are my favorite characters, and I really wish that they would have followed the guides. If you've never seen this film, go watch it. It's very good. So basically they have these 2 people, it's a girl and a guy, who are like alternative, and they're like really obsessed with the Blair Witch and run the like Blair Witch Project page and all of that. And they like take these 3 people. Is it 3? 1, 2, 4. It's 4 people and then 2 guides. So they take the 4 people into the woods, and they end up like getting lost. I mean, you know, the Blair Witch takes them. And like they end up, I don't want to go into spoilers, but they end up separated, and then they like come back later on, and they're like, it's been days, we've been out here for days, like what do you mean, blah blah blah. And it's really interesting, and I'd like to see what happened to them. I also really like how it expands on the lore that was built in the first 1999 movie. I never watched the second one. I will admit, I've never watched the second one that came out after the Blair Witch Project. Book of Shadows, I think it was what it was called. Mainly because my mom never let me. Like, my mom let me watch a lot of things growing up, but for some reason she would never let me watch that. I really love how in this film, just one last thing, they get so close to that immersiveness that I was talking about, with the first film. It is so good. It's so good. Like, you really feel like you're lost out there. And again, it's found footage. If you don't like that, move on. It makes me feel like, what would I do if I was in that situation? But like, firstly, I wouldn't go. Actually, my husband asked me that. He was like, would you even go into the Black Hills? Would you even go and see the Blair Witch? I was like, fuck yeah, that'd be so cool. Anyways, getting close to the end, guys. I think there's only 2 more. So the next one is actually technically 3 films, but I'm gonna group them together. So it is Paranormal Activity 1, 2, and 3. Only 1, 2, and 3. Respectively came out 2007, 2010, 2011. 2007, written and directed by Oren Peli. 2010, written by Michael R. Perry, Christopher Landon, and Tom Bapst, and directed by Todd Williams, and then the 2011 Paranormal Activity was written by Christopher Landon, directed by Henry Joost, and Ariel Schulman. So if you've never seen the film, like, I'm sorry, they've been out for a long time. The trilogy follows sisters Katie and Christy as they deal with a haunting that's been with them since childhood, which you get to see in the third film. So like the first film goes over Katie's haunting, the second film's Christy's haunting, and the third one is the events of their childhood. It is sort of a found footage film. It utilizes a lot of like security cameras or just many different types of footage. Like the first one is mainly a camera that Katie's boyfriend carries around and like places, different places. The second one uses like camera footage, like security camera footage, and then the third one we go back to like footage from them recording like on a camera. And it stars Katie Featherston as Katie and Sprague Graydon as Christy. Sprague, I think is how it's said, is such a cute name. And they are definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. I will say that the first one still really scares me, especially the scenes where like they're in the bedroom and all you can see is like the black door and you like can see the monster. Like it's not see the monster, but you know what I mean? Like you can see the ghost and stuff. I think that if this series would have ended after the third film, because they go on to make like 8 more films, and I think if they would have stopped at the third one, it would have been so much better. It wouldn't have been the joke that I feel like it is online. And I just like how they expand on it. Like, I don't know if they had meant to make more than just one, but like, I love how the first one is like its own thing. You can watch that and be satisfied. But then they make the second one and it goes into like Christy's haunting and it goes into like how they were both affected. Okie dokie. That was very creepy. So if you heard that little knock, it was my husband knocking at the door, and then my dog started barking because he came home and I wasn't expecting him until way later, but it just so happened to coincide with me talking about scary films and I got a little spooked out. But anyways, my husband's home now. We're gonna finish this video. We were talking about, I believe, Paranormal Activity, and I was talking about how it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I think I already said this. I really love how it is a found footage, and I love how they utilize different forms of found footage. And as I said earlier, I think that if they would have stopped at the third film, it wouldn't be such a joke. Like, I think I watched the fourth one where, spoilers, the little boy who gets abducted is like all grown up and he's all weird, and it has like that weird Xbox thing with the lights. And I don't remember liking it very much. Maybe I need to go back and like, maybe they're good, but I just don't remember the ones past the third one being very good. So I don't really watch them, like the marked ones. I never watched that one. And then there's another one that I never watched. Very weird. I never watched them. So, and this one, like, I know a lot of people find found footage films very taxing, but I don't, especially with these. As I was saying, I really like how they did this one, and as I was saying, also, like, the first one especially is so scary. Did you hear that whistle? The first one especially is so scary because of the way that they do just empty spaces. It's amazing to me that they made this film with one house, one camera, and 2 people. And it is terrifying, like, just watching as, like, they set the camera up and you can see the time span of the night and just the black doorway, and it's just a masterpiece. I would honestly call the first one a masterpiece. And like I said, yeah, the way that the directors use just limited, especially in the first one, just limited things is just beautiful. It's beautiful. Go watch the first and watch the first, second, and third one again, and try to tell me that those movies aren't good. Try. Excuse me. Try. You can't do it because they're great. So finally, the last movie in this 45-minute long video is The Ring from 2002. It is written by Aaron Kruger and directed by Gore Verbinski. The film follows a journalist, if you've never seen it, who discovers a cursed videotape that kills the viewer 7 days after viewing it. She must race against time and curses to save herself and her son. It stars Naomi Watts, Martin Henderson, and David Dorfman. The Dorf. Again, another classic comfort film for me. It's not even that scary anymore. I love, what is her name? The little girl Samara. I love, oh god, such a beautiful name. It's actually based on a Japanese horror film and novel of the same name. And it is, like, it quite literally opened the door for Japanese horror in America. Between, you know, like The Grudge and Dark Waters, which are actually two other fantastic horror films. Dark Waters is so great. The Grudge still scares me to this day. The aesthetics of the film, the way that they use the grayscale, like, and there's not any sun anywhere in the entire film until I think the end, when like she heals Samara or whatever. Like, it's so good. And then like the actress who plays Samara, excuse me, my head itches. The actress who plays Samara in the interview in the insane asylum is just, she's unnerving and she's scary and she's creepy and she does such a good job. And then like, so the whole premise of the film is that Naomi Watts and her son have like this really weird relationship, and then she discovers Samara and her mother who have like an abusive relationship, and it forces her to become a better mother. And it just is so, maybe because I have mommy issues, but it's such a good film. If you've never seen it, go watch it. And the second one's pretty good too, although not like the first. And then they made like more, and I remember like, what was this, 2018? They made another one, and the only thing I remember about it is that me and the guy made out in the theater the entire time. It was like an empty theater too, so we almost like did the hanky, but we didn't, because the movie was just whack. It was bad. It was a bad film. You hear my husband? He's moving. I can hear him in there. So anyways, yes, those are my 10-ish favorite horror films. Comfort films, horror, quotation marks. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed my opinions. They are purely mine alone. Please tell me in the comments which one you liked, which one you didn't like, if you happen to go watch some of them. And yeah, let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to follow me. Yay! So that you can keep in touch with me and all of my crazy chaoticness. If you aren't following me on TikTok, I am creating a ASMR TikTok, so follow me there. I will put the link in the description box. But yeah, until next time, guys.